Patricia awoke the next morning, cocooned in the soft, warm sheets of Alvin's bed. The feel of the fabric against her bare skin brought her back to the intimate moments they had shared just hours earlier. A shiver ran down her spine, a mixture of the cool morning air and the lingering sensations from last night. She instinctively reached for the other side of the bed, only to find it empty. Alvin was gone. The rhythmic sound of water splashing against tiles drew her attention, and she realized he must already be in the shower. Her lips curled into a small, private smile. The memories of last night flooded her mind. Memories of skin against skin, whispered words, and a passion that had reignited after all these years. It felt surreal. Had it really been so long since they had last been together like this? But as she lay there now, wrapped in Alvin's sheets, Patricia couldn't suppress the bitter smile that twisted her lips. "You're awake." Alvin's deep voice, rich and smooth like honey, broke through her thoughts. She blinked, snapping back to the present as she turned her gaze toward the bathroom door. Alvin stood there, his body still glistening with water, a towel wrapped loosely around his hips. His hair was wet, dark strands falling across his forehead, framing the sharp lines of his face. For a moment, Patricia forgot how to breathe. He looked like a god, a living, breathing Adonis. The muscles of his chest and arms rippled with every movement, the light catching on the droplets of water that still clung to his skin. His presence filled the room, commanding and magnetic, and Patricia felt her face flush, heat pooling in her cheeks and spreading down her neck. Last night, she had been too lost in the moment to truly take in the sight of him, but now, with the morning light filtering through the curtains and bathing his body in a soft glow, she couldn't tear her eyes away. "You're blushing," Alvin teased, his voice low and amused as he moved toward the bed, his footsteps soft on the hardwood floor. Patricia swallowed hard, her heart hammering in her chest as he leaned over the bed, placing his hands on either side of her. His face hovered just inches from hers, his eyes dark and filled with a mischievous glint. She felt a tug in her chest, an irresistible pull that made her want to reach out, to close the distance between them once more. Her breath hitched as Alvin's gaze swept over her, taking in the curve of her body beneath the sheets. The weight of his stare sent shivers down her spine, and she found herself holding her breath, waiting, expecting something. Before she could gather her thoughts, Alvin's lips were on hers, firm and possessive, as if he were staking his claim all over again. The kiss was brief but intense, leaving her lips tingling and her mind reeling. "Go take a shower," he murmured against her mouth, his voice a soft growl that sent a thrill racing through her. Patricia blinked up at him, trying to collect herself. Her mind was still spinning, caught in the whirlwind of emotions that Alvin's presence stirred in her. The way he kissed her, the way he looked at her, it was almost too much to handle. She needed a moment to clear her head, to find her balance again. "What time are we leaving?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper as she tried to regain some semblance of control. Alvin shrugged, a casual smile playing at the corners of his mouth. He leaned in once more, pressing a light kiss to her lips before pulling away. "The internet provider is coming today," he said, his tone nonchalant. Patricia frowned, confusion knitting her brows together. The words didn't quite make sense to her. Why would Alvin care about an internet installation? And why did it feel like there was something more to what he was saying? "What do you mean by that?" she asked, needing him to clarify. "We're not heading back to Manila just yet," Alvin replied, his eyes sparkling with amusement as he began to dress, his movements smooth and unhurried. Patricia's heart skipped a beat, her mind racing. She had assumed they would be returning to the city soon, that this little getaway was only meant to last a week. But now, with Alvin's words hanging in the air, she realized that wasn't the case. "I thought we were only staying here for a week? Tomorrow's already Monday," she said, her voice laced with uncertainty. Alvin turned to her, his smile widening. "I was thinking it might be better to spend a little more time getting to know you," he said with a wink, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Patricia's face turned a deep shade of crimson. The way he said those words, the way his eyes roamed over her body, taking in every curve, every inch of her skin, it made her heart race and her pulse quicken. She felt exposed, vulnerable, and yet strangely excited by the attention he lavished upon her. "Go shower, pet. We've got breakfast to eat," Alvin said, his tone playful but commanding. Nodding, Patricia rose from the bed, keeping the blanket wrapped tightly around her naked form. Her body still tingled from the intensity of Alvin's gaze, her skin burning where his eyes had lingered.